I am not one to put myself in front of the camera at all, but I kind of felt like I wanted to have a little bit of a visual on where I'm at right now with my tanks. And I guess I kind of wanted to put out a little bit of how this all started. My oldest son, Clayton, I had when I was 19, and we always had freshwater tanks, and he was really big into helping with them, and he always wanted to go to the store and help pick out fish. And unfortunately, we lost him to a auto accident when he was 19. And at that time, I took over all of his fish, and of course, everything at that point was freshwater. In fact, we had one fish named George that I guess as a teenage boy, he didn't quite do as much research into the fish as he might should have. And it outgrew the little 10-gallon aquarium he had it in. So I got a 30-gallon, and it outgrew that. So we got a 55, and it outgrew that. So I got a 75, and realized within a year or so that we might need to have to buy a pond. So we actually even researched building a pond because I couldn't bring myself to give up this fish that belonged to Clayton. We ended up actually finding it a home with a lady outside of town who rescues retired racehorses, and she has a pond, and George is living out his best life as a giant 2-foot pleco at a horse farm. So needless to say, about, I guess, 3 or 4 months after Clayton's accident, I really wasn't doing so great, wasn't functioning very well, and started kind of looking for something to put myself into. And a friend gave me a used 16-gallon BioCube for saltwater, and handed me some live rock and some water and said, "Here, have fun." That was 4 years ago, and we just now upgraded to a 4-foot long tank after having a series of 3, maybe 4 nano tanks. And I still feel like I have no idea what I'm doing, but it has been something that the whole family can focus on and do together and have a part in. And each one of us has one thing that we really enjoy about doing with the tanks. It is very much my hobby, but my husband helps with all the building of things and the equipment and lugging water around and driving me to places. My youngest son absolutely loves going to the fish stores, seeing the fish. When he gets home from school, the first thing he does is come in here and check out the fish. Whereas Ian, the 17-year-old, is more interested in the corals and seeing how they've grown. But he's also my one who's big on helping with dosing. I don't have any dosing pumps. I dose everything by hand. So if I'm not here, somebody else has to come in here and measure out a certain number of milliliters. And he does that, and he feeds if I'm not here. So they both definitely help out. And it has become a really big family thing. And I am very blessed that as much of myself as I have put into this hobby over the last few years, even teenage boys don't grumble. And it has really kind of helped bring me out of a pretty dark spot in my life. And for that, I will always be thankful.